CBS 46 News presents Public Affairs on Peach.
Good morning and welcome to Public Affairs on Peach. I'm Karen Greer. The word cancer is enough to send a shudder through anyone. And although pediatric cancer death rates have declined by nearly 70%, cancer remains the leading cause of death from disease from children. This morning, Public Affairs on Peach focuses on childhood cancer and the Rally Foundation. Our first guest on Public Affairs on Peach is Dean Crow, founder and CEO of the Rally Foundation. Good morning. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
So excited to have you. We're going to delve into the Rally Foundation and all that it does and is briefly. But first, tell our viewers what it is that really got you interested in this. You started a lucrative, great career in real estate and left it to do this.
So my husband was coaching a baseball team, and one of the players on the baseball team was diagnosed with a brain tumor. And when we were involved in that, we kind of got a glimpse into what was happening. And then William was the child that was diagnosed, and he had a great prognosis, had surgery, radiation, chemotherapy, and then about 18 months of treatment, got off and was doing really well, but then he relapsed. And when he relapsed is really when I got involved, and I saw what he was going through. And our son, Jonathan, same age, and when you saw the dichotomy of what William was going through and how harsh those treatments were, and really he was on the brink of death, you just knew you had to do more. So we were at the hospital one day, and I saw just how sick William was, and I looked at his mom, Nancy, and I said, "You have to tell me what I can do to help you, and I will not fix you dinner. We are beyond dinner." And she looked at my husband and he said, "Tell her what to do or she'll drive me crazy." And she looked back at me and she said, "Raise money for childhood cancer research."
Wow.
And that's how it happened.
And you have not looked back since. That was how many years ago?
That was 13 years ago.
Wow.
Yes. So
now you provided us with some great graphics, which I thought were astounding. Every 46, well, every school day, 46 kids are diagnosed with cancer.
Every day, 46 parents, every school day, 46 parents hear the news, your child has cancer. And all 46 parents have the exact same question for the doctors. What are you going to do to make my baby better? And Rally exists, so those doctors will have amazing answers.
I think it's also interesting, cancer kills more kids than any other disease.
Yes, so cancer is the #1 disease killer of kids in America. And it doesn't take long for those parents who hear that news that their child has cancer to learn that it is also the #1 disease killer of kids in America. So there is this huge need for better research and better treatments so our kids can live long, healthy lives.
And I thought the last statistic was interesting too. It's usually kids an average age of 8 who die of cancer.
Yes, which is very difficult, very emotionally hard on everybody, on the community, of course, on the families, on the grandparents, on everyone who really cares about these children. And really the average year lost when a child dies of cancer is 70 years of life. So if you think about that, like what could those kids be doing? What is it that they're missing by not being able to live those 70 years?
Yeah.
They don't graduate from high school, they don't go to prom, they don't go to college, they don't have their own children.
We're so used to focusing on adult cancers, the breast cancer, the prostate cancer, those
which are
kinds
so
of
important.
cancers, which are very important as well. But it is time to shed the light on these children who are undergoing something that many adults are going through as well. But can you just imagine what it's like for a child going through something like that?
I really can't. I mean, I get to firsthand see children go and fight cancer. But their bodies are so young and developing, and they're so young, and it is really traumatic. And a lot of times the treatments that the kids have to go through, because their bodies are changing and growing and developing, are much harsher than what the adults are going through. So that makes it really that much harder. And sometimes their treatments are longer because of their bodies developing and growing, and biologically they're different. So it's just very traumatic, and the treatments are so toxic for the children.
That's what's frightening too. If they're doing chemotherapy and things like that, it can be really tough on their little immune systems.
Yes, well, and then you have these long-term side effects that a lot of times people don't want to talk about. And 2/3 of the kids who undergo treatment and then survive suffer long-term side effects for the rest of their lives. And 1/3 of them have, really chronic lifetime side effects from the treatment.
I thought it was interesting. We talk about cancer, as I said, and every month something's dedicated. This month
Yes,
is
September
Childhood Cancer Awareness Month.
Yes.
And the National Institutes of Health really doesn't give a lot of funding to childhood cancer.
No.
Why is that?
Well, less than 4% of the National Institutes of Health's cancer budget goes to childhood cancer research. I think, bottom line, childhood cancer is not a profitable business. If you can take out the emotion, which is extremely difficult to do for big pharma, it's just not profitable. So really the funding for it has to come from the private sector to help make that up, and to, get the treatments that our children need, the better treatments with fewer long-term side effects.
So Dean, that's why you're here, and that's why the Rally Foundation
Yes.
is here to make a change with all of that.
Yes, absolutely.
We're going to talk about some of the great things work you are doing to raise awareness and really help raise some funds as well, and some of the
Yes.
great children you work with.
Yes.
Dean will be right back a little later, but when Public Affairs on Peach returns, we're going to talk to two young people battling cancer and see what they have to say. We'll be right back.